Good evening. This is the meeting of the Board of Assessment Appeals. Today is December 5th, 2023. It is 5:17 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Call the meeting to order. Pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. The next thing on the agenda is the nomination for the officers for the 2024 board. However, I'm going to skip to number 3 until the last member gets here, and we can go back and vote and nominate and vote. So, approved minutes of September 2023 motor vehicle hearings and deliberations. Do we have those minutes?
Yep, I have a copy if anyone wants to see them.
Has everybody had a chance to look them over, and is everybody okay with them? Are there changes?
I just have one change.
Mm-hmm.
I think somewhere in here, under item number 3, it says approve the February 21st, 2023 minutes, but we already approved those. We approved those in March. So that just needs to be taken out.
Where is it?
Item number 3 says approve minutes from March 6th to the 8th. Paul Kuzo made a motion to approve the minutes for February 21, March 6, 7, and 8. And we had already approved it. We discussed it, yeah.
Okay.
So February 21 just needs to be taken out.
I see what you mean. Okay.
Yep, those had been approved in March. I think that was it.
That's the only change?
That I saw. Unless someone else has some.
I just wanted to go over something about minutes. I was looking at the FOI stuff and the town charter and everything else, and I'm confused about the minutes. To me, it makes no sense to post draft minutes that people might look at and think that that's okay, and then they go off on their way. They don't come back and check again. What if we make changes? Then we've given the wrong minutes to the public who may want to look at them. Why do they take so long to post minutes? Is there a way to do it? Aren't we supposed to do them within a certain number of days? I thought I read somewhere about 7 days, things like that. Is that, am I not understanding that right, or is that what the rule is? Does anybody know?
I mean,
my understanding 7 days.
Yeah, my understanding is you have to have the votes available within 48 hours. So those votes have to be available at the whatever agency's headquarters. So Ross's office has to have the votes.
Yep.
So that's why you don't have to have the minutes done, and then the minutes have to be posted within 7 days.
Okay, and
draft minutes.
It just says minutes. I didn't see draft minutes on there.
Yeah, draft minutes have to be
I'm not
posted
really
within
sure why
7
we
days.
have to post. Why can't we just post the regular minutes within 7 days?
Only because the public technically probably has to have the opportunity to review them, as does the rest of the board. Like, we wouldn't want to be reviewing and commenting on draft minutes through email, right?
No, we wouldn't.
Right, so that's why you post them publicly, and then you discuss them at a meeting, and then you approve them at the meeting. That's the process that all...
Unfortunately, we don't. I guess
meet that frequently.
We don't meet that frequently. I think that's part of the problem for us, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long time, a really long time until we meet. So, okay, well, I guess there's nothing we can do about that then.
No, I think if we distribute them, if Kathy and assuming she's going to hopefully bless us with her presence for a while, if she's going to be doing the minutes, and she gets them out to us, sometimes she can send them to us before she sends them to the town clerk. We can at least give her feedback without having a group discussion. She can make any obvious corrections, and then at least what we're posting is pretty good. It might not be perfect, but it's part of the way there, and then we approve them when we're ready. It's just sometimes we're so busy in March, right? We can't to do all those minutes and look over all those numbers while we're trying to...
Yeah, you can't do it this month.
You don't want to, right? No. Maybe the end of March, if we got our act together.
We started earlier and got done earlier, maybe we could,
And then we set a date at the last day of the month to get together and do as many minutes as we can, and then that'd be my preference.
All right, mandatory review of civility and standards of conduct for the town charter. Please, when you have a minute, go through the town charter. I believe it's section 11. It talks about civility, and there's it's like 4 or 5 things on the page. It is Article 11, standards of conduct. Please become familiar with those. By now we should be, but just a refresher, because this is, every year I'm supposed to go over these. I really don't want to go read them one by one. That's why I said, please review if you have any questions. We can discuss it the next time we meet. Basically, it's typical things of, disclosure of interest. Anybody who has an interest in any of the properties we're discussing, we need to disclose that and decide whether or not, you think that you should be removed from, or remove yourself from voting on it and discussing it. We have to make sure that we treat everybody the same, fair and equal, including each other. Like, in other words, we cannot take advantage of our position on the board to gain anything that the average public, somebody from the public could not. So, if we were presenting an appeal of our own, we have to appeal that we follow the same guidelines and rules that apply to the public. Okay. Can't accept any gifts or solicit any gifts, disclose confidential information. However, the issue about that is what's confidential anymore? Don't disclose confidential information. It's taped, it's live, everybody hears it. So I don't think there's doing anything that's confidential in these meetings unless it was an executive session thing, which we don't really have because we don't qualify for that exception. And then there's that one exception about properties that are on the market, appraisals, things like that. I talked to FOI about that. There's a little bit of it's not clear. The paperwork says that if somebody came in here and their house was on the market and they had an appraisal, we should not be making that public because it could affect the price they get. But then somebody else said, no, that only applies to municipal stuff. It doesn't apply to the public. So I don't really know, and that was the FOI who said that. But I don't think that's right, except I wasn't going to argue with the FOI. So it did happen last year, but we didn't do anything about it. I don't think we remember that rule. So there were 2 houses on Saskell Hill Road that we heard from appraisers, and both those houses were on the market. However, in that case, I think it was an advantage to everybody that everybody heard it because I think those prices came down to more reasonable, and one of them I think actually sold. So it probably helped them out, but we just be careful with that. So basically, just take a look at them. It's one page. It's pretty easy reading. I don't think there'll be any questions. That was a notice that we had to do it. All right, we did it. Anybody have any questions about it now? No?
Just quickly back to the minutes. Did we vote on the, I don't remember.
We vote on what?
Did we make a motion to vote?
No, you
On
didn't
what?
vote.
I'll make a motion to
minutes.
approve the minutes as
Oh,
amended with the removal of that.
Can we vote
February
without Helene?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
have
we
a
can vote. We
quorum.
only need a quorum. It doesn't have to be, yeah, that we can vote without one. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. Review of BAA handbook, section 203, Robert's rules. Please go over those too. We have plenty of time before March. We don't really know about them until March. I know they're boring. Actually, they're not boring. They're pretty interesting. We keep reading the same things over and over again because it's the same every year. But just become familiar with what seems to be the most common things that we do. There's some things that we never really use, but they're in the book, they're in the rules, but there's things that we do a lot of. So try to become more efficient, so that when we're meeting, it creates less of an aggravation of arguing or discussing and then waiting and go back and checking. We can move along a little bit faster if everybody understands them and agrees on them. Section 203 is quite large. But there's a lot of interesting information in there if you really sit down and read it. Half the stuff I forget. It's so big I forget what?
I said I'll take your word.
Take my word for it. It's things you may need to know someday. For example, if you were going to, if you wanted to put a pool in your backyard and you were told no because there was an issue with conservation, okay, and you were refused that permit, you could come before the board and probably get a discount in your assessment because you're not allowed to do something, but you have to apply for the application.
That's in Robert's rules?
No, that's in the state statute.
Okay, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
I'm so sorry.
Please join us, Celine. We'd love to have you.
I'm so sorry. Completely
Let
lost.
the record show, Celine
But
Dilly
I
has
was on
joined us.
the other side of town,
Oh,
of
no.
course, helping my pregnant
Where's
daughter.
that, where was that you're just mentioning that?
That's in the state statutes.
Oh.
Later on, I can
I
probably
didn't miss
email you the
anything. It took us
sections,
20
like,
minutes to
no
figure
problem.
Yeah,
out how to.
no, that is interesting.
And I'm like, to get in the car and I'm halfway over.
I didn't know that.
And then I'm like, oh, yeah, that's where I'm supposed to be.
We're good. We're on agenda item.
We'll keep going.
You look
now.
like you're about to
5?
chop down a Christmas tree.
Jen, we're on number 5. The Roberts Rules thing, only the short version of the Roberts Rules. We're not using the full Roberts Rules thing. We're using it for small boards of 12 or less. And I think most of those are pretty much apply to us, and I think we continue to use them. We don't really have a reason to go back to the standard unless somebody has an issue with that. We can discuss it. No issue? Okay, let's move on. Discussion and vote on adopting CGS 12-111. That's the rule that says, that allows us to decide whether or not we want to hear appeals on properties of $1 million, commercials, things like that, of properties that are over $1 million.
I don't want to.
No, I always say no to this, but I sort of had a little feeling that maybe we should consider it and discuss it and see how everybody feels about it.
What did we have last year?
We didn't do it last year.
But did we, I mean, how many did we,
How many appeal, well, I don't know
how many were there that would have been?
There were some on the list,
There were
like,
some, there weren't that many, the
three,
the
four,
reval
five.
year, there were like 200 appeals, commercial appeals. A lot of them were over $1 million. Some of them were like, a hotel, 50 million.
Yeah, I mean, and we're not equipped to do that, honestly.
The only reason to do it, even though we're not equipped, the only reason to hear it is because then they would turn in all of their documents like any other person coming with an appeal. And some of those documents could help the assessor, in making a deal with them rather than having to go to court. So that's the only reason.
And we have to decide that tonight.
We have to decide that tonight, yep. So how does everybody feel about it? Does anybody really want to do it? I'm not in favor of it myself, you're not, but I figured I'd open it up because it's not my decision whether or not it gets done, it's a vote. Anybody in favor of it? Anybody feel really comfortable and confident with it? Because I really don't.
I mean, I would have,
sounds interesting, but
I think, I don't know if we agreed or whatever in the reval year that we would hear them, but that we all kind of agreed that we would, I think we sort of just voted no because we felt like we weren't competent enough to make a decision. So that would be,
Yeah, I
we're
agree with
supposed to do that? I don't know, but I think that's.
All in favor of not hearing appeals over $1 million as allowed by the state statute?
I think
Say aye.
maybe voice the motion in the affirmative and then everybody votes against it. I'm just trying to think.
I think
Right,
you
your
should
motion
vote
is
no.
to not say yes, and who I'm not sure of, but.
We're voting, we are not,
We're voting-
we're not in favor of, we're not in favor of doing it, that's what we're voting on.
Right.
Vote to accept them, the answer is no, right? If you vote.
If you vote, yes, if you vote to accept them, your answer would be no. So all I'm saying is very
So I'm gonna
simply-
vote no, I think, right?
We
Because I
want-
don't wanna do it.
Right, I don't wanna do it, we don't wanna do it.
So
That-
it's
no.
0-5-0, I
What?
think.
What?
If you make the motion in the affirmative.
I don't
we
wanna
can-
make the motion in the affirmative, I'm gonna leave it the way it is,
So your motion is to not hear
to
them.
not hear them,
So
yep.
then we vote in the affirmative.
Now you
not
vote in the
hear.
affirmative, yep. All in
Right.
favor of not hearing them, please raise your hand. Unanimous. I'm not a big person in favor of always making that thing in the affirmative, and there's a really good reason why, but I won't discuss it today. Okay, I won't bore you with it today. Assesses participation in board activity. I kind of put that there for a couple reasons. One was because if we were going to do those appeals, we'd have to have his input. We could not do that without him. So that takes part of it away. But does anybody have a thought on that? I don't want to be the only one talking, especially since I just said surgery. No?
I mean, I don't have a problem with him being here. He's able to clarify some things, and we seem to, be able to contact him or let him know that we would need him for, certain things. So, I mean, that's just my thought on it.
But maybe I misunderstood what you're asking.
I guess I'm just saying, I guess what I should have said was, how much participation do we want him to have? Not, do we want him to have? Yes, he's going to have to, at times, participate in some of our activities. We need his help sometimes. So that's fine. But how much help do we need is the answer, is the key. What I don't want to see, I hope I never have to see again, is that circus I saw when I came in here one day when there was a meeting going on, and I wasn't on the board. Katie Guston and I came in to see what was going on, and we had Paula with a big projector projecting comps on the screen and telling the board what she thought was good.
Yeah.
I will not.
Yep.
As long as I'm doing this, I will not have that in here.
Yep.
That is completely inappropriate, and I never want to see that again. I think he has great information that can help us clarify things when we really don't know, or we really are stuck on something. But for his actual everyday, giving us comps, he had his turn. It's not his turn anymore. That's just my thought on it. That was just, to me, that was like, I can't believe we're doing
I
it.
agree with you on that. I mean, it kind of takes away from the Board of Assessment Appeals.
Right, what do they need us for?
And the, the autonomy that we have, so
Yeah.
you already know what the assessor has.
So I think we should go back to those, I don't know what the forms were called. There was a form people used to fill out if they had a question for him. We didn't use them last year, we used them the year
yeah.
before.
It was
Some
an
people use
online
them.
Yeah, why
form.
didn't we use
It was
those?
an
I
online,
said no, but I changed my
yeah, it was
mind.
like an email or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
you
was an
emailed him
online
if you had a
form.
question, yeah.
It was well, it was different than an email, because it went into a
Okay.
database, so he
It was
could
something
print them
about-
all
yeah.
out. It wasn't
Oh.
like
But you
you
filled out a
got
form and it
right.
just, yeah.
Yeah, and then you could sort by, you could pull out who submitted it or whatever, and you could decide whether you wanted to be seen, just the questions coming in, just the answers going out, but it made it a much more transparent process, so that if somebody was asking the assessor about, or whoever, for information on a map or something, everybody would get the answer at the same time as the person asking the question.
Plus, it was good because it sometimes it made things go a little bit more quickly for us. Because if it was something we really didn't know about,
Yeah,
like farm status and
And we
things
had
like
an
that.
answer by the time
You get
we
the
were
answer
deliberating.
before the meeting
Yeah.
a lot of times, and so
Right.
then we could all read it and at least have
Right.
questions. If we have more questions, we can address them with him, but at least we got the basic information that we didn't have.
Right. It may not be as difficult this time if we're hearing them all together, because then we're all asking
Right,
questions.
that makes it a little bit easier,
Where
yeah.
before with
Yeah.
600 of them,
Yeah, you couldn't-
people
that
were
was just
submitting
too many.
questions on ones that
I
they
agree.
heard, so they'd be ready to prepare them.
So I guess we'll continue to use Ross in the capacity of,
Yeah,
And
other
so
than
it
that
seems like-
form was attached to the old website, and they've
that's right, yeah.
they've upgraded the website, so
Mhm.
I don't know that
we'll
particular
have to ask
form is
them.
not available, but we have 2 months to ask IT to give
Mhm.
us something
Okay,
similar to that, I would think, where we can
come up with something.
do
so we
that.
can get
And then
it.
he would attach the answers to the backup, right, for the
Mhm.
particular appeal.
Yep,
So the appellant would see the response as well, right?
Mhm.
All that information
Good,
is
yep.
very
Yeah,
transparent.
that's good.
so then we should continue to use them in things like that.
So I just wanna make sure, I wasn't at that meeting, I don't believe I was at that meeting, because I don't ever remember that happening, but.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, I have to take this.
That's okay.
No, I don't. I can let it go. It's gonna be a voice now.
I'm just, trying to understand, what are we not going to allow him? I'm not asking him to come in and say, here, Peter, this is how you should assess this, right? They've already come up with, assessment. We should have access to the sales data and all that stuff, right? So, I'm not sure what we're asking him not to do or not, allow him to do.
It's not, okay, it's not that we're not asking him, we're not allowing him, we're not gonna have people requesting that he come here, at a regular meeting, any meeting, and be part of the group, the whole meeting. There's times when we need him to be part of it, which is fine. But on an everyday basis, we're meeting tomorrow, and we're gonna go over these appeals. Okay, Ross, what do you think? He comes in with his slide projector, he puts his things up, and we're all looking at his comps. And he's discussing the appeal with us like he's a board member. We can't have that. That's wrong. That's what I don't want to happen. That's all. If people need his help for things, yes, of course, he's there for us, he's there to help us. But he's not there to do our work for us, he's not there to decide for us. He's just there to help us get through something we might not truly understand.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe he's got some extra information about things like farm status, which most of us are not that skilled in. Or commercial property, that most of us are not that skilled in.
I will say that he has access to the sales data that was used in the reval, that, as brokers, you may have access to some of the sales data. You don't have all of it, right, because it's not all in MLS. But for those of us who don't have access to that, it was helpful that he would provide, sales in a certain neighborhood code or in a certain price range or whatever. In other words, we're inquiring him to provide us with the data from his sales database. And then he can say, okay, here's the 17 sales that fell in the dollar range you're asking for, in the neighborhood that you're asking for, whatever. So then, Peter, I, whoever, would have access to that data.
I think he can give us that in writing. I think he has a list. It's not gonna be a large list.
Yeah, but
But I
he can
think
probably
we could-
filter it pretty quick. In other words, his software can filter that information very quickly and show it on a map, and you
And
can see.
also, it's on Vision, a lot of it's on Vision.
Yeah, the
That's
data's
right.
there, but to
Yeah.
have it on a map, we can say, no, click on, I want to see that property over there on this map, click on that one, because I think that street is similar to the street. That's what he would bring them up, right, and it would put pins on the
A
map,
lot of pins.
and then you could click
Oh,
on
I
it.
already
or-
started.
Yeah, I mean, you guys probably have that tool to yourselves, right, but it's not,
Well,
Not that way.
Not the
Yeah, we
way
do,
that-
but not
yeah.
that, no.
From my perspective, when he did have the slide presentation, I thought most of his comps were not good. Were not good at all. And, you know, if he had 10 comps, I'd say, get rid of that one, that one, that one, that one, and maybe keep those two.
Yeah.
That was it, so it wasn't impressive.
And I, you know, it's good to have
that's
all
what
of
the
it,
data, I mean, that's how they got created, right? I mean, that's how the comps got, that's how the price gets set. So that's part of the problem, is that, yeah, those were
Right,
not good comps, they're
exactly.
too high, too low. So then it gives us better information to make a good decision and say, no, it should have really
No, I
just been.
I don't
He did
think-
give us better information. I thought we gave him better information.
No, but that's how his number was created,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, we were able
Right,
to justify why it needed to be changed or whatever. So, I agree, I think he's he does this all day long, so he's a very good, source of information for the data. He has to report it to the state, he's sworn to tell, whatever. But in terms of asking his
And it's
advice.
good to know that if we do need him
Yeah, he
for an
can help
answer,
us
he's
out.
there,
Yeah.
yeah.
But we really can't have him interacting and participating in the meetings
No.
as though he's a member. Like I said, if we have questions, if somebody really has questions and needs his help, we can certainly ask him questions and see what he has to say. But we already know what, like Colleen said before, here it is, this is what he says it's worth. The owner says, no, it's not, and here's the comps. Okay, well, we don't have to know what his comp is, we know what the number is. I don't have to know it. I wanna see what the homeowner comes with. They come with comps that don't make sense, then no, we have to go with his
Right.
number. If they come with comps that clearly show that it's wrong, then it's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the homeowner misses the house right next door because it wasn't a comp that they wanted to use to justify their case, but in fact, it is a really good comp because it's right next door, it's on the same street, and we have that happen.
We've had that happen.
We take that into
Take
account.
Yeah, but we have to find that, we have to go look for that.
Well, we don't really have to look for it. If the comps they gave us match what they have, we don't need to go look for another one. If it doesn't, then we do.
Match the ones the town has, you mean?
No.
No.
No, we don't know what the towns are. We just know the town come up with, say, 500,000 for the assessment, okay? So the homeowner comes in and says, no, I think it's really 450. Okay, well, how can you prove that? Show me. Well, I have these three comps, and if you look at them, they look just like mine, and you can see from the comps that, yep, they match up. So they're right. Why do we need another one that we have to go find when we've got ones that are right? When they don't match up, yeah, then it's like, well, these are no good. You can't, this doesn't match that. We can't possibly reduce it. It's just not a comp. Am I saying that right? You got what I'm saying?
I don't understand that. I mean, isn't that exactly what, they're supposed to present evidence.
Yeah.
If their evidence is, just because they bring something doesn't mean it's actual relevant evidence, right?
No, that's what I said.
Yeah, that's the
That's what she's
side.
saying.
If they bring it and we're looking at it and it looks right, it looks like, okay, well, here's their house, here's this house, everything seems to match up or as close as you can possibly be, then, all right, I can see where they're saying that maybe they were overassessed, maybe their property is assessed too high. Why do we need to go find 6 other comps to prove that they're wrong when they're actually right? If they came with comps that don't make sense, that do not match up, that's where we have an issue. Well, they don't match.
And we've had plenty.
And we've had that
those.
happen. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
Then what? Sometimes it's pretty close, but maybe it could be better. Everyone's individual. But I don't think that we need to go and find another comp. It's not our job to disprove what they're telling us. It's our job to look at it and decide whether or not we think that they have shown us that an error has occurred. Anybody have a thought about that?
Well, now you're making a completely broad stroke decision, because in the past, if people haven't,
Proving the
had
case.
sufficient evidence, sometimes we've still gone out of our way, to assist them because they didn't know what they were doing. Sorry. So if we're making a decision that the burden's on you, 100% on you, taxpayer, if you don't present a case, then are you saying that it's automatically rejected? If the data they have provided is not convincing?
When it comes time to deliberations, but what we've done during the interview process is, because no matter what you tell them that what they have to do, they still come to us without the information. And, so in that case, we will say, look, it looks like you may have a case here, but you have to prove it. You have to come back with comps.
During the hearing, okay,
Right,
during the hearing phase, right, okay, right.
But in the final, I don't know, I think I know what you're saying. I think we have done that to a degree, but maybe there was like something missing or we needed another piece to it, so we put it to the side. We said, if you just get us the pictures of this, or if you do this, or get that, I don't think it was like an entire start from scratch kind of thing.
Right.
Because we have said, no, they didn't prove the case.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that's not exactly what happened. I can recall one case last year where, we spent 30 minutes or, more than the allotted time looking for comps for the person who came who didn't have any comps.
Yeah, I really don't want to
whatsoever.
do that.
And that was totally, in my opinion, totally inappropriate.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't want to do that
but
anymore.
I'm not saying it didn't happen, I just don't, if I
I don't
knew the
remember
address,
it
I
either,
might
but,
remember better, but.
I just thought, normally we don't do that because we have denied people because they didn't have, didn't do their homework. We told them up
But
front.
especially when you say
gotta
to them,
come back with
come back
They
with
don't,
something and they
then-
don't, then it's like, well, I can't,
I think
I'm
we
gonna
were
help
right,
you.
we
Yeah.
might have
Well, I
been.
don't have a problem with that, just to say, look, if you want, you don't have comps here, you need to come with comps, that's,
We may
and
have
that's
been
on there.
debating the comps.
Yeah, that's good, we were probably debating the comps, that happens
That's
a
what I
lot.
recall is not having it, but that's just
Okay.
my recollection, so I don't wanna.
Okay.
Well, and some of them will average them, or they'll do the square footage calculations, which is really not
That's not the way it's
acceptable,
supposed to
right?
be,
And
yeah.
you're not, you're supposed to take one and do it much more simply than that, move it up and down based on.
Yeah, and
Well, I
that's
think-
something that, we should probably talk to them about in the interview process too, just clarify that with them, because that seems to be a trend, people doing.
Everybody
that.
does it, 'cause,
Yeah.
right, commercial space is based on square footage for the most part,
Yeah.
so, you think.
I think sometimes, I looked at those directions that we give them, those helpful hints, not so helpful. One of them is, don't use one approach. Hello, these people are average people, they are not gonna know how to understand to do another approach. Which, by the way, in my 5 hours of continuing ed today, that should have taken me less than 3, but I picked the wrong course, never do that one again. It was all about, BPOs and appraisals and, how to do it and stuff, and, those other approaches are not for residential real estate, they're really not. So telling them that is really not fair. They don't know what it is, and it's wrong. We need to get that off there.
Were you gonna make a little movie?
Make a little movie, I'd
Carol?
like to make a little
I thought
movie.
you were gonna do a little.
Yeah, what's one of
God.
those things you like to send out? I like those.
What?
Those things that you always send out, something like,
A video?
Yeah, those videos, yeah. Hi, I'm over here today, I like that.
I
never know where you're gonna be, I said, where's Carol today?
There's a nice video that I mean, we own a house in the Cape, and the chair of the board of assessors and the assessor, whatever, did a really nice little intro. This is how you
Wouldn't that be
do it,
cute?
yeah. And this is what we want to see, and this is not, Massachusetts does it differently than Connecticut, so it's a slightly different process. But it was very, user-friendly,
Straightforward.
very helpful. And it was kind of, it's like a 5-minute little info.
What town is
thing.
that?
In Harwich on the Cape.
Harwich, I'll have to look it up.
Somehow
I'll have to
I-
find the video, I'll send it to you.
It sounds cool, somehow I don't see Ross and I sitting together doing a video. Anything can happen these days. We had a lovely conversation the other day,
Oh, yeah.
we stood, until I couldn't stand up anymore, but we stood and chatted, it was nice.
And one of you can wear a Santa hat, and the other one can wear a Grinch hat.
But that's not a bad idea, doing something so people can see what it is we really want them to do before, because those helpful hints are really not good.
Yeah, health
Well,
department
should
does
we
amazing
review,
videos.
should we review the helpful hints?
Yeah, while we're reviewing everything else, we have plenty of time to review the helpful hints. Well, we don't have plenty, we have to get them changed before, most of those people start doing their appeals in January.
Yeah, it's gonna.
So we have to have that done now, we'd have to really look at that.
What is it, a 1-page Word document?
Not even, I don't even think it's a full page.
But I can do that, but then how do we make decisions about change? Would we do that all during email? Through email?
Do we have a
To make
copy of it right now?
Changes?
I don't have it with me.
It's probably on the website.
It's
I
on
know
the
where
website.
it
It's
is.
on the website.
I
Over
remember
to the new
I
site.
looking at it.
Well, make the changes and then just email us.
Okay.
Yeah, the other choice is maybe just put an example. I think there is a list of what to do and what not to do,
There is a
but
list
it
of
might
what
be
to do and
nice
what not
to
to do.
just say,
Yeah.
you know,
Here's an
and
example of
it
how
kind
to do
of
it.
directs people to vision, which is a little, They get confused with the neighborhood
Yeah.
code thing.
You know what, and then you just put the name Bradley Cooper, and then.
Exactly.
All right, let's see.
Something funny, so at least they'll pay attention.
This is petition of the boards. So are we clear that, you know, so, I mean, I don't know that we need to vote on it, but we have an understanding that the assessor will be available to help us. We can send things
I
to
think
him.
we're all
if we have
fine with
questions,
that.
If we find a way to,
Uh-huh.
talk to IT, find a way to send him questions, but he's not part of the board, and he won't be here on a nightly basis participating in the.
I don't think he wants to be here.
I think he'll be thrilled about that.
Somebody should be on call to answer our
There should be
questions.
somebody on call though, yes.
Especially for personal property, if we do if we deliberate all of those
I
in
don't
one
know,
night.
I gotta find out who's gonna help us, if it's not
Paul is
Ross.
not here anymore.
Paul's not here anymore.
Mhm.
I didn't know she was gone.
Oh, Paula?
Mhm.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Where'd she go?
So did she retire? I'm not sure
Oh.
if she retired or she just moved on. I'm not sure.
nobody knows.
I always got the impression that she lived here,
Branford or something.
way out of the way. Some town I don't think I ever heard of. But whatever, it's just funny that I always thought she lived here. Let's see, where are we now? Which one are we?
Number 8.
But we usually need help with personal property, right? I mean, those.
Yeah, we always need help with personal
And even
property.
with some of the commercials we
I
have.
mean, Ross can help, unless maybe there's somebody else in the office he can assign to do it. But I guess I should talk to him about that, I should ask him about that. You know, what are you gonna do for that? I also have other things to ask him, like, for example, you know, are you paying for our dinner? Because they should. So,
Maybe we'll get
Go
12
for it.
appeals.
Go back to you.
We'll be done in the night.
yeah, there may not be that many. So, he's got my money.
Next year will be nothing.
Set schedules for hearings and deliberations for 2024.
Yeah. So is this where we like literally pull out our calendar and
Yeah, I thought calendar, but here's the thing.
what?
It's the whole month. I mean, we have no idea of how many appeals we're gonna have. So, let's talk about deliberations first, because it's easier. Okay? We have no idea how many we're gonna have. So,
Why can't we use last year's as a
we could, but it
benchmark?
took us weeks to do it. Here's the problem though, if we ran into trouble, and we had, like, there was a lot of snow, and we had to cancel meetings. Of course, we could do them online, I guess, or, so that may solve that, but if there were reasons why we needed more time, we can't ask for more time. It has to be on the calendar now, as far as the meeting
Oh, right,
date.
so we just do the whole month
So we
of
have to do
March,
the whole
is that
month
what
of
you're
March,
saying?
the deliberations.
Yeah.
And then we have
yeah.
to cancel, which makes a lot of work for everybody. Then we have to cancel what we don't need.
Okay,
So
but when did we decide on the actual hearings, though?
Now those are harder to do, so, we have to decide on the actual hearings. Now, on the forms, we didn't talk about the forms yet, but we will. On the forms, which are right here for everybody.
Oh, great, thank you.
Yep. The form that the appellant fills out, it gives them a choice of when they want to come, not the exact time and day, but it tells them to go for a time slot for morning, afternoon, or evening. We've always done the appeals that way, the hearings that way. We've always had morning, afternoon, and evening, appeals hearings, okay? So, until, we have to just figure out, like, how many, we have to guess, because we don't know.
So here's my request,
Okay,
is that we take that line off of the form, and depending upon how many we get, I would prefer, since, you know, I work during the day, Peter works during the day, that if it's relatively small, we just assign everybody the night, and if somebody complains and says, I can't come at night, I need a daytime appointment, then we then pick one day. In other words, we post daytime hearings for certain days to the town clerk, and that, so we're covered, so we can do them if we want to, but then just don't let them pick, and just assign them all at night, starting at 4:30 or whatever we want to
Yeah, I
say.
think that's gonna be a
4:30 to
problem for some
8:30?
people.
that's gonna be a
Well,
problem for some
let's see what they come back. We're not
Why would
One
we
at a
do
time.
that?
we're not taking the choice away from them, we're just assigning them a time, and if they don't want the time, then they can come at another time. In other words, statute does not, I mean, they're required to come when we tell them to come, that's the statute. The fact if we want to give them flexibility or rescheduling or something, but we don't,
But now we're
We don't
making
have to.
more evening hours for ourselves versus knocking some off during the day.
Right.
We're
well, yeah,
requiring
because Peter and
way
I
more.
can't go to them, so if we're gonna hear them all as a board, which is, you know,
Well,
what
why
I
do we
would
have to
Wait,
hear
are we
as a
hearing them
board?
all as a board?
Why do we have to hear
Well,
them?
Wait, what are we
last
doing?
year we did,
last year we
were-
did, we tried.
We tried to hear them
Oh.
all together, because it was,
Right,
They tried it out,
well,
and
a
actually
few.
got- no, most of them, well, not everybody was here, but the plan was that it was, the board was meeting to hear your appeal for hearings, and, you know, you came at your time and all of us were here, or should have been here, but couldn't be here, I guess is what I'm saying. We didn't do individual ones, like, I didn't do my own.
I mean, we
you
work
did your
during
own.
the day too, I
Right, we work during the day.
I don't wanna do it all at night.
You know, I have a problem with doing it all at night, and it never was that way, and
Well, then maybe just,
What about during
I
lunch
mean,
hour?
you know, for me,
Can't do lunch hour?
one or two mornings out of a week from 9 to 12 is not a big deal. I can work around that. And I think that, I think there's people that are gonna want that.
yeah.
Well, I think what Catherine's saying is, if they can't make an evening, they can request it be done at an earlier time.
Yeah,
you
I know, but I
and
don't,
then-
yeah,
Then that
I
way,
don't know. I don't think people are.
I guess what we're trying to do is balance what we want for convenience sake, since this is a volunteer position, versus what, you know, we wanna be able to balance them and us both, I guess.
You know,
I mean,
last year we
I
had-
hear what you're saying, that you're not able to participate during the
so
day.
I have to go back and listen to them, and I don't get my opportunity to ask
Right.
questions, right? I have to rely on you guys to ask the questions that I would have asked if I was here.
But last year was the first year that we participated
As a group,
as a
Right.
group of some sort,
Mhm.
usually more than one person.
yeah.
I think it was at least at night, not during the day, but at night we were all here.
And did we find that was better than in
We
years
knocked-
past
We
when
knocked
we
them off
just
in
did
3
one
days.
person?
We were done in 3
It
days.
was,
didn't have
I thought it was
that. We
better,
didn't have
It was only like
I
6
enjoyed
at night.
doing them all, because I wanna hear
Yeah,
my own stuff, but
Yeah.
that's just me.
Yeah.
But, and I think the public liked it, because we had quite a few people come during the day, either morning or afternoon.
yeah, it's like, I'm just thinking of like the appraisers and the
Appraisers,
attorneys.
lawyers, they
I
don't
mean,
wanna come at night.
I don't think, I
No.
know.
Well, too bad. They go
Well,
every,
actually, it's not too bad, because we're here to serve the public, we're not here to serve
Well,
ourselves.
but they
we're
go
not
to
here
all-
serve the appraisers, we're getting paid.
But what has it been in the
they all
past?
go to other towns anyway. That's their,
Was
that's-
it
they know
always
that.
during the day?
No.
No.
Just,
It
no,
used-
it's always been the way I said it, morning, afternoon, and evening.
That's what
No,
I'm
it's
saying.
not ever
There's
been
always-
afternoon. We've
So,
never done
we
It
afternoon.
was
always
never
do
after, it was
afternoon.
either
But it's
morning
been
or
more,
night.
morning,
Nine
night,
to 12 or
morning or
nighttime.
night.
And they were individual. They were always
And you've been
individual.
on the board for a while, right?
Yeah, since
My
2016,
fourth
yeah.
time on the board,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we didn't
Right.
do it as a whole. It was always individual
Individual, right.
until
Right.
last year, for me anyway.
I mean, like I said, I would prefer to be able to be available to hear them all. And so if we're allowing people to choose day or night, if we're allowing the appellants to choose, then, you know, and they're choosing daytime, or we start at 4, you know, is 4 daytime? Is 4 o'clock, it's gonna be daylight, you know, is that the issue for some of them? I mean, 'cause last year I felt like we were doing like 6 I would come at night and I only had like 6.
Yeah, because
Right?
most people
3
do
nights I
during the
did,
day.
I think 2 nights I did 6, Peter wasn't available one night or something
Yeah,
out here.
but what does that tell us? Most people came during the day,
Yeah, I prefer
Well, we had
not
3
to do
sets
them
of
all at
sections.
night.
so.
That's just me.
You know,
I mean, I could try to take time off from work if we, you know, really make it a very specific day. I can take a half a vacation day or something.
Oh, that's kind
Don't
of
do
crazy.
that.
Well, I mean,
Don't waste your vacation.
Otherwise I gotta go
Don't do
listen to
that.
them and I don't get to ask them.
But wait, you,
Well, here's
but,
the
but,
other
but,
side of
that.
but prior to last year, you weren't listening to them during the day.
I was not. Other years,
Right.
I didn't do daytime
You
here.
did daytime sometimes, didn't you?
Maybe when I worked in town hall, I was able to
Mhm.
get the ability to come over and do that, yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to think what has changed. It's just that now we're doing things as a group.
Mm-hmm.
So always before that, you had to listen?
Everybody did their own, it
No,
was
you
always
didn't have to
individual.
listen.
You couldn't
Oh,
listen.
you couldn't listen?
They weren't recorded.
Yeah.
You just had to rely on the
Yeah.
person who had heard it,
Right.
putting the information
Right.
back
And-
in front.
and- But that, I mean,
It worked.
it worked?
Yeah, it
for
didn't
years.
work great though, I
It
mean.
didn't?
Well, I think I was fine, I mean, we did it for, well, it was 4 years of that, and it seemed to be okay.
I
don't
mean,
think
some of
everything
them,
went great.
some of them would say, you know, look, they didn't tell my story right. They would listen to the deliberations and they would say, I didn't say that to that person and they missed 9 of the 10 things I said and I wanna come back again. And so at least
Wait, how many
recording
people
them.
said that?
Well,
There were a few
I don't
come
wanna- I
back
don't
when
wanna
they
mix
get.
But I mean,
it
they could say that about the whole board.
Yeah.
I don't wanna mix up the issues,
Yeah.
but the other
Yeah.
point, the other
And
part
they
of it
did last
is-
year, remember when
I'm not
we
gonna,
missed the
if I
whole
miss a
deliberation
group, and I'm
thing,
sure I'll
came
miss
back.
plenty, I'm personally
We
not gonna
reopened one at the end
You
last
don't have
year,
to.
'cause she
I
said we
trust
missed something
my other
on
board
her.
members
You have to trust me.
to
The other
take
thing I
it
wanna bring
and,
up.
I'm not gonna listen
I was
to
gonna
it.
bring up next, but before we finish this, it's part of this, is that we've talked about recording. I'm not in favor of recording the hearings. It's not necessary, and it's not required either. It's not required by FOI. It's not required by the town. It wasn't required by the town attorney. So, there's really no legal reason to record them.
No, but the public has the right to record them.
No, they can record them if they
They
want.
wanna-
That's what I said, so if
record them
I wanna
themselves.
hear them, I have to get someone to come over and tape them for
You
me.
can do that if you want.
Right, I really would prefer not to do that, I'd rather you just record them, and then I can listen to them afterwards if I can't be here.
Why do you have to listen to all of them? I mean,
Because I wanna hear what the appellants have to say. I mean, I feel like that's my job, I wanna hear their case,
Mhm.
and
Well, if
if
it's
I
your
can,
job-
I'd like to
if
ask
it's your
them
job,
questions.
I would say show up.
That means,
not-
then that
I'm
means
sorry,
making the
but-
midnight when I'm
I'm
available.
sorry, but no, here's the thing, and I'm not trying to be rude, I'm just trying to be
Well,
open
it
about
doesn't
it.
sound very fair.
Here's why it's fair. Let me tell you why I think it's fair. When I was on the board before, my last year on the board, I switched where I worked. And the requirements for my job, even though it was still in real estate, were very different. I had a strict schedule that I had to follow. I did not opt to be on the board again because I couldn't fulfill the board duties because my job now required that I be there at times when I was gonna miss a lot of board stuff. It wasn't gonna work, it wouldn't be fair. So I did not run again. I skipped it because I didn't want to, I wanted to do it really bad. But I couldn't because my job wouldn't allow it. Now, nobody in this room is a first-time person on the board. If you can't participate in the board activities the way they've been lined up, then do you really belong on the board? Do you really think you needed to be on the board again? And that's up to you. I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't. That's your decision. But we can't change things to accommodate people who knew what the deal was. When I first went on the board, I didn't know what they were gonna require. I said okay, stupidly, without asking. And I was like completely surprised when I found out what I had to do, but I did it because I said I would. And I think a lot of people that start out on the board get that, didn't you? Not really understanding what you were gonna have to do. But after all these years, I think everybody knows what they're doing, and like, we can't keep changing, so we change it this year. Next year, we get somebody else, next time we elect people, oh, now let's change it again. It's not fair to the public. We're here for them.
Okay,
We're
so,
not here for us.
I hear you, all right, so what are we saying? We wanna go back to having options you wanna keep the options on the paper? That's what we're saying. That's really what this is about, this
Keeping
is
the options.
about the form.
Right,
It's
it's about
giving
the
them an
form.
option. Could
Giving them an
we
option,
eliminate the afternoons and just do mornings and evenings, which is, last year was the first year we added the afternoons. So, I think if we just do 9 to 12 and
Can't we
4 to
do
8 or
two?
something, yeah,
We just do morning and night?
That's fine.
that's fine. And if I have to hire someone to come and record them so I can listen to them, I will. I think that's kind of silly, because I
If
think
we record them, we might not be recording them.
Well, listen,
we have to let the public dial
yeah.
in
I
anyway.
mean,
The public has had
People
to
can listen
have
to
it.
them, they're perfectly fine to dial in. Wait, Peter wants to.
So it's getting recorded anyway.
I'm not sure why we wouldn't record. I mean, I know, and the example you gave of your own circumstance, well, we weren't recording them back then. Right now, the technology's here, that's what it's for. It's not just for us, it's also for the public. I mean, maybe there's someone who's, trying to think about how they should be, presenting their appeal, right? They can listen to another appellant, okay? So, I think what Kathleen's saying is perfectly valid, that she wants the information herself, hear it herself, so that she can, better deliberate on that appeal.
We're gonna have it on anyway. We're gonna have this on, right? This is gonna be on so the public can listen, because these are hearings that are open to the public. They're not private. They are a meeting. They require minutes, all the things that a hearing is. So,
They're actually meetings, but
right, they are. They're a kind of meeting,
Kind of
right? So we're gonna have to publish a phone number, and people are gonna have to be, we have to allow people to dial in.
actually,
And it
we
gets
don't have to allow
recorded.
people to dial in, we have to invite them, which means they can come. As long as we, FOI,
So
talked about
sure.
it twice last week, 2 different people. As long as we invite them, they have to be able to come and have access. They have access as they come. We do not have to offer them a phone number and have them sit at home eating a sandwich and listening to what we're doing.
I don't know that that's not true.
Why are we not? I mean, what is it that we're concerned about?
I'm not concerned about it, I'm just saying, it's like, it's more work. Every time, like tonight, that was fun, wasn't it, 15 minutes
It's
waiting and trying to get it
administrative, pain
started?
in the butt.
It's a pain in the ass, so, I mean, why do it if we don't have to? Why make more work than we need to make, is my point. I mean, I'm not gonna say we're not gonna do it.
More
We don't have to do
transparent,
it,
and
but
it's
I'm not
better
gonna-
for the property owner.
It's better for the property owner.
And
because
it's
the
better
whole
for me
world
as a
hears what
board
you're
member,
saying.
all three of those things.
Uh-huh. Well, it's not my choice. It's, you know, I'm not the person that decides it. We'll have to vote on it. So let's vote on first the change in the hours. Okay? The change in the time.
So we're
Two
to
times a
eliminate
day.
the afternoon, but we're
So
still
we're
gonna offer
saying
the
that
morning.
we're making a motion to eliminate the afternoon hours,
4, yeah.
1 to 4, and offer the public a choice of morning or evening.
Okay.
Carol?
I mean, I liked it the way it was, but
I did
that's
too,
fine.
but-
I mean,
We could sit here all night.
yeah.
I just think this year, and I would do 9 to 12, was it 9 to 12? I don't remember.
Actually, I think I would rather do, if I'm gonna have to do it in the morning, which I did last.
Look,
time.
as long as, like, I'm not here from 9:30 to 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm not
We
doing
could have
morning and I'm in the
10, and we
afternoon,
have all
I
these
don't-
options.
I don't
10
really
to
care.
1.
You
No,
can
but I
keep
mean, we
the
could-
afternoon if everybody
10 to
wants
1.
it, that's fine.
10 to 1, and then,
Oh, you mean
I guess 4:30 to 8:30.
10, oh, okay.
I really don't wanna be here till 9 and 10 o'clock at night either.
No, last year we were done by 7.
Yeah, we have.
There were
depends on
just
how
weren't
you get.
that many.
If you don't get that many, it works out great. You know, the years that we get 400, we're gonna have to look at that again, because there's no way we can do them all. We'd have to go back to individual hearings, I think.
Oh,
There's
I'm
no
sure
way.
that we will in the next
There's no
revow.
way, yeah.
Yeah, right now, we have the luxury of having such a small number. Last year, we talked about the possibility of hearing them all together, and that would give the appellant the best, you know,
Mhm.
hearing, because they get to talk to everybody, gives us the best information, and then that was the, you know, a nice way to proceed
Okay.
for the public.
Yeah. Okay. I'll make a motion that we, change the scheduling for the hearings to a schedule of 10 to 1 or 4:30 to 8:30 for the public to choose. All in favor?
We know we'll have this room available, right? That would be the only thing.
Well,
If
we don't
there's
know.
other things that go on in this room in the afternoon, I don't know.
We don't know.
We have to request, right?
We'll have to
You do
request
have to
it.
request rooms.
But for now, we'll,
So based on assuming the room is available, okay.
all in favor again was 4,
Unanimous.
1 opposed.
Oh.
I'm not in favor of that,
Oh, okay.
but it's not my choice. And then, I guess, with regard to, recording hearings, my idea of not doing it is to save administrative time. Why do things we don't have to do? Why make things worse or harder? Some people want the recordings. I don't think it helps the public at all. I think it's only to help the board members, because I don't see, what does it help the public if we record their hearing? Deliberations are different. I certainly would say, yes, record deliberations, although it's a requirement, I would still agree to it or agree that it's right, because there's things in there, we're making decisions, we're discussing, and people might need that information to go to court. Even though Russ says they don't use it, the appellate could use it to help them get their case ready. And so could the town, to make a difference. So yes, much as I don't like it, I understand the reason for it. I think it's necessary, I think we have to do it, that's fine, I have an issue. But the hearings, I think, are totally a waste of time for the public use. They're just for our use. And then who do we serve, ourselves or them? Why do we make extra work? So, let's vote on that now. All in favor of recording the hearings? Any questions?
Well, there was two parts to it. One was, you said you didn't think that we had to have access to the dial-in part. So, if we're not,
Well, no, we have to, I'm not gonna, that's another day, that's another day's fight. Today, it's just I'm not gonna say we're not gonna dial in, because somebody will have a stroke in probably the assessor's office. Or the first selectman's office.
oh,
We don't
I
need
thought
to do
you
it,
said
but
we can
we
just
don't. Right,
invite them.
We can just invite the public, but that'll be a big problem.
I don't know, I think you might need to check. They may need to be now hybrid. You may have to provide remote access for the public. I'm not 100%.
I mean, if the thing is
on.
being dialed in,
Mhm.
the cumbersome part to me is the whole system. if you have to get to the system to have it dialed in, it doesn't take that much extra effort to record. So to me, it's all or nothing. It's easy. It's already being dialed. We already have to do the whole thingamajig.
That's true.
Don't you ever want to
True.
go back and listen to what somebody said in case you missed something?
No, I don't miss anything.
No, I mean, they're only 20 minutes long.
It's
Well,
not.
I really do. If I didn't write and take a good note, I want to go back
Here's why I don't
and
care,
listen to what
because
they said.
For me, it's
Well,
like, I review every one of those before we hear any of them. I sit there and read every one of those appeals as they come in. I'm not doing it all in one day, depending on God, knows they can't do it 200 all at once. But I'll go every day, I'll look and see how many more are posted, and I review them, and I make notes. And if I think I need to check on something that I'm not clear on, like, what, I go and do it. And I come to the meeting with notes, so that I'm prepared to speak to the appellant. That's the way what they say, I have my questions, and I just write down, I take my notes, and that's it. I mean,
well, what if you're not there? You're just going to look at the backup?
I was there at every one, I went to every
I
one.
know, but what if you aren't there?
What if I'm not there?
Yeah. How are you going to find out what went on?
Here's what I'm
Wait,
gonna do.
wait, I don't need to find out anything if,
Well, no one has to present the
But then-
case anymore if we all listen to it. Last year, we didn't present. It was like everybody knew the case, and that was it. There was no one person assigned to an appeal. In the past, right, we had
That's right.
multiple ones.
Yes, you're right.
I heard 20. I would go to the board and I would say, I heard this person's case. These are the 3 or 4 comps they gave. This is what he said. Some of the backup is there. There's some information I gathered from my conversation with him, and I would present it to the board. Last year, we didn't do that because it was like, okay, now we're going to work on appeal number 62. Everybody got their paperwork out, and if everybody had listened to it, there was no one person assigned to present appeal number 62 to the group. There was a motion with an amount, and then we would deliberate and be done. So in that case, you're not if I'm not here and I can't listen to the recording, I've got zero information to make a decision on. I'm basically looking at the backup only. I'm not the interview with
You're
you.
listening to,
We still discuss it.
yeah, were you
Well, I'm
listening
listening to your
presentation?
discussion. No
yeah,
one's
that's what I
presenting.
remember.
No
those
one's
that I missed.
presenting it
I'm
anymore.
sort of I remember listening in on whatever was presented that I missed. I mean, albeit I didn't miss that many, but I don't know.
Well, whatever.
Well,
I would really like them
presentation,
recording.
because we have to
I feel
remind
like-
ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't remember.
We're kind of talking it
Right, it
through.
was like,
and-
okay, remember, this is the appeal where blah, 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 these are
Right.
the comps. And so we're kind of just doing what we did in the past anyway, even if.
Right.
In the past, it
with
was more
recording.
formally presented, but whatever. I really enjoy listening to them afterwards. It gives me much more clarity, and I'm much more comfortable making a decision when I can hear what the appellant said in addition to the backup that they've presented.
You are unique.
Yeah.
Maybe.
As a courtesy to her, I mean, it has to be recorded anyway. I mean, the thing is gonna be on. It's literally pushing a button.
All right, I'll make
I
a deal.
think.
I'll make a deal. That's what we do all day. I'll make a deal. You guys wanna record it? I don't care. Record them. Make yourselves happy. I could care less. But if I come in this room and we're starting at 10, and there's a problem with it, and that's it. You got 5 minutes to fix it, otherwise it's not recorded. End of
I
story.
agree.
I'm not gonna spend 20 minutes and 30 minutes fixing it. No.
No, the assessor's office should set it up for us. And
Like
last year
then,
we had Kathy here to help us. And she
Mhm.
sat right? You were here for the hearings. And if they handed anything in during the hearings, I believe Kathy collected their paperwork and
are you
made.
doing that again
She
this year?
blanked it out.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna be available this year,
For any of it, or just the hearing?
in 2024,
2024. Well, that's the, okay,
Oh,
okay. All right,
but I don't know yet.
okay.
I need
All right,
another
so,
cat.
Okay, well,
all in
that's a
favor
bigger
of
problem.
recording,
That's a way
Definitely
bigger
recorded,
problem.
we're definitely
all in favor of wasting time recording the hearings, please raise your hand.
well, I didn't
Oh,
hear.
Please
all in
take,
favor- all in
please
favor-
strike wasting from the motion.
All in favor of wasting time by having a record, by recording hearings we don't need to
No,
record?
I'm not in favor of
Please raise your
wasting
hand.
time. Stop.
All in favor of recording the hearings, raise your hand. 4 to 1, I'm not raising my hand.
Fine,
I refuse to waste good time.
okay.
Okay, next.
No, on the form, are we back to the form, I don't know
Yeah.
if we were done with that,
We're-
but I think people struggled last year
Oh,
with the
yes,
land
yes,
and the
there's one more
dwelling
thing.
breakout. Do we
Yep,
feel
there's one
that
more thing
we
yes, thank you for
need to
reminding me.
do that, or
Yes.
some of these other appraised landline values?
No.
At the end of the day, we usually go to the card anyway to get the values, right, the breakouts. Because most of the
Yeah,
time, they
so
didn't fill it in correctly.
We're eliminating that whole,
I think we should eliminate that whole thing and go back to,
What whole thing?
see, under property description.
Appraised land, appraised dwelling.
A,
Yeah,
yeah.
Going back, take that out the way it is, and go back to.
But you're telling me, because I'm the one that did this form, so
I'm
you're
telling you.
telling me so that you want me to revise it,
Yes,
right?
if everybody votes to
Yes,
do it.
I just wanna
Yes.
make sure
Yes.
I'm understanding this.
Carol, I'm telling you this,
Yeah,
we'd like to.
yeah, go ahead.
What I'm suggesting is that we take that out completely
Mhm.
and go back to the current, as one whole piece.
Appraised and
Appraised
assessed.
and assessed,
Right.
So,
as one whole
So the
piece.
current land and dwelling.
so just take that,
subtotals,
whole
we're
take the
taking
subtotal
out.
part out.
Take that out.
Right,
Subtotals
right,
out.
fine.
I
You have to
agree
take
with
it out
that.
of two
Right.
sections.
Yeah,
There.
that's
So then it
interesting.
it's just current values,
Right.
yeah,
And then
okay.
underneath, section
When they do their statement,
5, yep,
Yeah.
statement of value, it's one whole
D,
piece. Yep.
section D.
Section D.
So you're just asking for the total?
Yes. I talked to Ross about this the other day when we had our conversation.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, they don't know how to.
And they don't.
Well, I think my stupid idea was that I could shove it down their throat that it is a breakout, so that it would help them to understand the breakout.
And I don't think it was a stupid idea. I like
That's
the
all right.
idea because it was the way we used to do it many years ago.
It's more cumbersome.
Many years ago, we did it that way. And
Fine.
I liked it because, I'm a firm believer that the property is as a whole, yes, but the land is valued differently than the dwelling on the field card. I mean, it's separated out. So I like to know, when I'm looking at something, what makes up the whole. That land value does. So I like to
Yeah.
break it out.
I think it's
break it out in my own head.
I think
simple.
it's
I can do
important
it.
for a homeowner to understand their home
Yep.
values better, but
That's up to
I
them.
agree, it's
But-
too cumbersome.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I can do that in my
There
own
was
head.
also at one point, this was a fillable PDF, so that they could type it in online as opposed to filling it in by hand, which made for a lot less mistakes in their email addresses and their
Oh,
phone numbers. So if possible, we can get ITS or whoever to just take whatever form we have and make it a fillable PDF.
Okay.
And then, we can at least have a hard copy. If someone doesn't want to use the fillable PDF, I just find it's much easier to read their writing when,
it is.
yeah. Otherwise,
I
we're
agree.
struggling, who they are, what's the appellant's name, yeah.
Okay, so we'll change that. Is everybody all in favor of changing back to a total amount instead of splitting it out the way we did last time?
Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah.
Unanimous.
What does position mean next to property owner's name?
That's a state requirement. It means like, homeowner, landlord, tenant,
Got it, okay,
appraiser.
okay,
Yeah. Then the state, it's stupid because they don't know what it means.
right,
And it's a state requirement.
okay.
Can we
So we have to be careful.
clarify that with, in parentheses?
Yeah, we better clarify it in parentheses. And if
I don't
somebody
remember
leaves it
having that
blank-
before.
I don't remember
It's
this
been there,
either.
it's there, it was there
I
last year.
guess I didn't even
But
question that.
It was there last
Probably
year.
have
So
an
it's
old one.
Homeowner slash
Homeowner,
Landlord.
homeowner.
Does it matter?
Appraiser, tenant,
It says property owner's name.
right, so you put like Carol Langland, and then, but that's the name and address. But who's the person here? So that could be the appraiser. Then they have to come with that other form, which is another story. Please,
I think they probably put like
they put last one with the blank.
We didn't used to have that.
insurance agent.
We had map
I'm
and.
serious, like,
Oh, yeah,
that's what I would
exactly,
put.
The problem is though, it's in the regs, it has to be there. They'll
Okay.
not let us take it out, and I went and looked, because I didn't believe them, and yes, it's there.
Huh, we used to have map and lot number, I have one of the really old ones.
No,
It was listed property owner, then map and lot, but
I
that's
just-
not what position is, huh?
So I'm
No.
gonna put example, homeowner.
Okay.
and the regs doesn't tell you what position is.
Street location
That's what
of
you
property, but that's why it used to be map and lot. That makes sense to me, position
what
on
the
the map and
position was?
lot, I don't know.
Oh, my God.
I'm just saying, street
I don't know.
location and then mailing address different, and then we added property description. Well,
No,
do
it's
we
easy
know
to
what
call
that
the
is?
FOI, but it's not easy
So
to
what
call
are
the
the
state.
options? Homeowner? I mean, you could
Well,
still be a
anybody-
landlord.
How can you be the landlord and not be the homeowner?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I
So
don't
if-
understand what other position
Why
there
does-
is.
why
You
doesn't
can be
it
the
just-
tenant, because you can appeal taxes.
No, you
No
can't
one-
appeal as a tenant.
You can if you're
No.
responsible to pay the taxes.
Oh,
Check the
well,
regs.
yeah, but,
But that rarely happens, I've never had that happen.
Oh, no,
Why
you're
don't we
right,
just-
'cause Mo Wine and Spirits pays the taxes to
Yeah,
Sherry.
yeah.
Okay, well, whatever.
Unless, I mean, I can ask Ross, why don't do anything with that until I check with Ross and see what that exactly means. He never said what it meant.
Wait,
To Paulette.
Maybe you're right,
Okay.
Kathleen,
We
maybe
could
it's
do,
map and
you
lot.
know,
That's
Yeah,
all.
maybe I put it on the wrong line.
It was
Check the
map and
box
lot.
answer years
I
ago.
might have put it on the wrong line,
Maybe.
by mistake.
Okay, we'll check that out. We need to clarify that before January.
Okay.
Okay? Put that
Okay.
on there.
And we try to keep it to one sheet, I think. is
Yeah,
great.
just one sheet.
Oh,
And then
Is
we
there a
had them
place-
sign off last year whether, that they read the helpful hints.
No, we didn't, do we have that last year? No.
Yeah, that's on there.
Yeah,
I don't know
okay.
if that helped.
Yeah.
By initial.
3 paragraphs or 2 paragraphs from the bottom. By
You wanna
initialing
take
this
that off?
petition, you acknowledge that your duly authorized agent has read both the forms, instructions, and the helpful hints on the town website. I
Right.
mean, it's not, there's certain things that's required by
That's not required.
statute, that's not required, and if we need space on the sheet, you know, I would
Yeah, you
drop
could
that.
delete
Might wanna we can take that out, but what we should put in there, I think, is please attach your authorization form if the owner is not appearing. Because they say that we're supposed to fill out that form giving somebody permission,
Mm-hmm.
then they don't come with it. So if you ask them to attach it, that might remind them that we need it.
Yeah.
It may not, but it might be worth it.
Yeah, I actually don't like that they give us their property card either unless that's required by statute, because often
not.
they're printing the one offline and it's old.
Yeah, this.
It's
yeah, we
not
can
the
take that
current
out,
card, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we can take it out.
And we just go pull it anyway, we have the assessor's office pull it and add it, right?
Yep.
That's the best way to do it, because then you get a current card.
Yeah.
Where's that?
The last thing.
You must supply a copy of your current assessment, property card can be obtained at the assessor's or online. But I
If they
think
do
the
it online,
online
it's not
cards
right,
are old.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Which I
they're
think-
last year's cards,
Yep.
it gets really confusing. And just, you know,
So
have the
please
assessor's
attach
office.
what, Paulette? Please attach
Please attach
the,
authorization form if owner is not appearing.
okay. Okay. All right,
Okay?
good.
Any other questions or comments on the form?
No.
Any other pertinent business that we need to bring before the board at this time?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would like to bring in the business of whether we're having someone take all the minutes or not.
Well, yes, now that Kathy's saying she might not be available.
Right, so do we have a substitute?
I have to talk to Ross, and he's gonna have to find somebody.
Oh, he will find someone then,
He
okay,
has to find somebody. It's not our
Okay.
job. It's his.
okay.
And because we're volunteers, we do not have to take those, we can just.
No, we have a budget to have a
It's
paid
in the budget,
secretary.
so
Of course,
he's
we love
His office
Kathy.
pays Kathy.
I know,
so
we do.
And
We
if
love
Kathy's
you.
in Florida,
Yeah,
she can
Kathy,
do it
we
remote.
understand.
She can do it remote.
Yep.
I'd be okay with that. Some of the other boards have all their minute takers remote.
Oh,
And we would just need a technical assistant to make sure that stuff is turned on so Kathy can listen. I'm not speaking for you.
Okay, I
but-
haven't made any decision yet, but I'll, you know.
Let me
okay,
know
well,
as soon
if
as
you,
you know,
yeah,
just let
I
me
guess
know.
just give him enough
Probably by the
time to
first of the
find,
year,
give him please, give him enough time to find someone
I will.
else. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes, well, because I don't think we voted on our
No,
calendar
we're going
yet.
back, but I'm just.
We're going back to the calendar too, right? 'Cause
We're
we
going
didn't
back
do
to the
the
calendar.
either.
So now let's go back to the calendar
Okay.
first. Okay, so now we know that we have to have, March is the month of March. So we need pretty much, say March, when the month starts, I don't think the first is on a weekday. Okay.
March starts Friday the 1st.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't want to start on Friday.
Yeah, there's so many days that we have to, right? He usually doesn't start right away, just because if we don't have our schedules into him, he can't send the notices out, and then you have to give the appellant so many days of the mailing. I don't know if it's 7 days or something, but, so we should probably start on the 4th.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
Yeah.
And do them all the week of the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
March 4th.
I would think we would probably only need, worst case, 2 weeks of mornings. I can't imagine we're gonna get an influx, or maybe even only just 1 week of mornings, and then just evenings for the rest of the,
So March
So we
4th,
have to schedule them now, and then
March
we.
4th, this
Cancel
is
them.
ridiculous. This is, I don't really
No, but-
understand what the reason is why we have to tell them in December what we're gonna do in March. Seriously.
Well, we're
FOI.
We're kind of in a unique
That's
position.
way more than the
this board.
FOI would require.
We're unlike other boards that know they're gonna
Yeah, I
have
mean,
a
this is
meeting
different.
every
We're not
month.
like, they're meeting once a month. What's the big deal? They pick a day. We're meeting day after day after day.
because they become special meetings if you don't, and then you
Well,
can't.
wait, do we have to give them 3 months' notice?
A year, yeah, you're supposed to set your calendar by January 31st.
That's an FOI thing?
I think
Or is that a
it's
town
either,
thing?
no, it's FOI, I think. You have to have your, and then anything after that becomes a
Special meeting, and then you can't vote.
No, you can vote, you just can't add to the agenda, and you can't approve minutes, there's other stuff that happens, it just gets more complicated, so
Thank you, FOI.
it's better just getting them on the
The
calendar.
initials I would use
think.
for 'em, but whatever. March 4th through the 8th, okay.
In the morning, right, is that what we're saying, so 4 to
Same
8,
morning.
or are you gonna do Friday, or are you just gonna do Monday to Thursday?
I would do to the 7th, if we're also doing the next week, just.
We're gonna
I
do-
don't think we wanted to do night on Friday night, though.
No.
No, but for the week of the March
Oh,
4th.
for
are
the
you
morning,
doing-
yeah, we could do morning,
You're doing the whole week?
4 through 8.
Yeah,
Monday through
4th through
Friday.
8th for the morning.
Yeah,
Okay, and that's 10 to 1, right?
Yep.
yeah.
And then in the evening, it would be the 4th through the 7th. And that is 4:30 to 8:30, correct? Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then the next week, if we need it, 11th through the 15th for the morning.
Yeah, we don't have to decide, we don't have to say whether they're hearings or deliberations, we just have to say, we just have to schedule a meeting.
Right, we just have to schedule the
Right.
time.
So for that week, it'll be, I don't know that you're gonna need another week of mornings, but,
Well, but if we don't
Certainly
ask for
can.
them, so,
okay, so you wanna do the whole week, 11 to 15 in the morning
yeah, we
too?
probably don't need them, but if we don't ask now, we
Okay.
can't do it. And then 11 through 14 for the evening. And then 18 through 21, right? 18 through 21, evening. 25 through.
Wait a minute, now we're talking about deliberations, right?
Right.
It doesn't matter though,
It
as long
doesn't
as you
matter,
get
but
the
now they're,
time.
you know,
I think
that's
you just
probably, we'll be hitting it by then.
drop the mornings out.
Yeah, yep.
Mhm.
So March 18th through the
21st.
21st,
Evenings only,
4:30?
4:30 to 8:30. Oh, we don't have to give them an end.
You don't
time,
have to
though.
give them an end time,
Just say
no.
4:30.
For the hearings, maybe it's a good idea, but.
25 through 28 the next week.
Mhm. And we have to be done by the
We have
end
to be
of
done by the
March.
28th, that's it, we have to be done by the,
I mean, I'm just gonna say, I think, because Good Friday is on that Friday,
oh, when,
So maybe-
when's Good Friday?
the 29th, so maybe not Thursday,
Good Friday's on the,
so
Or we could just set it and
We
then.
canceled a lot of those because we were
Only
done.
birthday's on the
28th.
28th.
oh, it says it's on the 28th, so the 27th.
Easter's the 31st? Oh, yeah.
Wow, it's early this
Okay.
year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we were lucky
27th.
last year that, I mean, our deliberations took us longer than we hoped, but, we did meet towards the end of March to try to, approve minutes and also to reopen to reopen some of the ones
Yeah,
that
that's
we
why I want
felt.
to schedule till the end of the month.
Right, so
because
that's why I feel like we maybe should at least in our heads know that we'll probably be meeting somewhere 26, 27 in that week if we, even
Yeah,
if we
25,
cancel the
26,
whole week of the
27.
18th and everything, because we don't have much to do.
Yeah,
Um,
and then just put down the 31st, only because
Well, that's
I
a
doubt we're gonna
Sunday.
need it.
That's
Oh,
a
never mind
Sunday.
then, it's the 28th is the end, okay.
Yeah.
Then never mind, we stop on the 27th. Okay. I don't think we'll need all those dates, but we'll
No.
ask for 'em.
Mhm. And then we need to pick our February meeting, right?
Our February meeting, yes, and our December meeting, yes?
And September.
Right, so February, what did I say?
You said 21 or 22 in your email.
Take a look, guys, anybody have an issue with either of those dates?
It's a Wednesday and a Thursday night in February.
Actually, Wednesday and Thursday.
Peter, I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm just, both of those days,
no good?
Next 22nd is the better one.
Is the 19th, or is the 20th better for you? Because I don't care what day it is. Oh, wait a minute. We don't want to know, we have to do the 21st, 22nd, either of those, because the appellates, they have till the 20th at 4:30 to hand in their stuff, so.
Yeah, 22nd, the 21st or 22nd, 22nd would work better.
22nd, all right, all in favor of the 22nd for the February meeting?
What do we do during that
Yeah.
meeting? Here.
A lot.
A lot.
I'm sorry, what?
We'll know by then, we'll know how many appeals we actually have,
Right,
and we can look more at scheduling, see how many are gonna be in the morning,
We have to
whatever.
provide our availability,
But-
right, because-
Okay,
have all this.
Is there planning?
It's like a planning
Okay.
meeting.
Yeah, I
Ross
just
will-
don't remember that meeting.
Ross will
at
come
all.
to that meeting. By then, he will have information for us that has to do with the reval, which will begin in the spring of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's coming soon.
So he'll have some information for us. He might be able to tell us about his model, stuff like that. So he'll be at that
So
meeting.
this
We've already talked.
22nd meeting is at 4:30?
5?
5.
It won't be late.
That'll be a longer meeting, I think. It really depends on what Ross has to say. If he has a lot of stuff.
That
to
one's
say.
usually about 2 hours.
Yeah, that's usually 2 hour meeting.
Yeah.
And then that was February.
And
then
that's
we have,
Thursday night. Okay.
Okay.
And then we do September for the
September,
auto
I
here.
think I suggested September 10th. I'm
That's
trying to
for the
get us a
auto.
little bit away from Labor Day. We always do it earlier, but I'd like to be a little bit further away from Labor Day.
Okay. Did you double check with Ross, was there any reason why we usually did it the first week
No.
of September? Okay.
The regs say sometime in September, so
Okay.
we'll do it then. And then we have the December
Can
meeting
you do
again.
Tuesday, Wednesday? Does it matter what date are we picking for September?
Oh, the 10th. Peter, are you okay with the 10th?
Let me, so the 10th is
A Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Is that no good?
Just give me 1 second.
I seem to think the Historic District Commission meets on Thursdays in this room. I could be wrong. I could check the town calendar for today and take a look at that. But I can figure out how to
That would
use it.
beat him to it.
So they're sort of the only board that we have stayed away from, just because they store all their stuff in the closet in here, so it's
Okay.
hard for them to go someplace else. Let's see.
Yeah, so what were the 2 dates?
I just picked one date. I picked the 10th. But it doesn't have to be the 10th, just a day in that week.
Yeah, the 10th's fine.
Okay. Everybody okay with the 10th?
What day of the week is that?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, the Historic District Commission generally meets virtually on the second Thursday of the month. I don't know if they're still virtual, but they tend to meet on the second Thursday of the month at 4:15 PM. So they're usually in
That's
this
a
room.
random time.
And I don't know if that's what we picked for February. We didn't, right? February's that's
February
not
is
the
a-
second Tuesday. I mean, second Thursday. No, it's more than that. So we're good.
Okay.
And in the September one, we're not doing Thursday, we're doing Tuesday.
Right.
So we're fine.
Mhm.
Okay.
Now we're to December.
So the September meeting was approved unanimously?
Well, do we,
We
are we
haven't
all in
voted
favor
on
of
the
the
dates
10th?
yet, have we? Oh, yeah.
We voted
Yeah,
on the
sorry,
22nd.
Yeah.
Okay,
We just voted on the 10th, unanimous.
okay.
The 5th. I think, did I say December 5th? I don't remember what I said.
You said 4 or 5 in your
Okay.
email.
So either one is fine. The 3rd is fine too, I don't care.
You're
Whatever.
talking about next year,
We're
next
talking about December
December?
of 24.
This organizational meeting that we're having now.
I would prefer like Tuesday or Wednesday,
Okay?
just
And
because I
let's
think
pick-
the sip and stroll is on the town,
What are we talking about? What?
try to
What day?
support everybody.
Oh.
Is
the
on our
December
organi-
meeting,
Our
I
December
think.
organizational meeting, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I know. A year away. So Tuesday or Wednesday, I would prefer.
So that would be the 3rd or the 4th?
That's right.
I don't care, either one.
Or if you want to do the 10th or 11th, I don't care, or 12th, I don't care about that.
I was just trying to stay like the
I
furthest
think
away
the
from
earlier
Christmas
part of
this way.
December is better than as.
Yeah, that's
just
why I
get-
wanted to,
Trying to meet with there's so much going on.
yeah.
So the 3rd or 4th would be,
Anybody have an issue with either of those dates? No?
Not at the
Does
moment.
anybody care? Somebody pick a day. Peter, what day is better?
The 3rd.
All right, we'll do the 3rd,
Great.
December 3rd,
At 5 o'clock again?
at 5 o'clock, yeah.
Okay. So most of our meetings are 5 o'clock on Tuesdays, except for the February one, is a
Mhm.
Thursday. Okay.
Yeah. Because I don't wanna do it on that
Last
Tuesday, because
night,
they're just,
Carol.
Huh?
he won't have any
Last night was
information, we
the
don't have all that,
Board of
all the, everything.
He won't have enough information, okay.
The Realtor
Fairfield
one,
Board of
I
Realtors.
know, I didn't go.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I heard it was, and
Yeah,
I
it was
could
great.
kick
Yeah,
myself.
it was really fun.
Yeah,
Much better than like a dinner and all that. It was at, the castle.
yeah,
It's great.
I should've gone.
And that was
I was a putt.
December 4th, so.
Yeah, no, I was talking about the townwide.
Hoping.
Oh, the
Bebop.
Step and Stroll thing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
December-
yeah, I try to see all
If they
my
do it on the
shop-
same
I know a lot of
night,
shop
that's
owners,
the
so I
Fairfield Board of Realtors Christmas party.
Oh,
Like last, so.
oh,
I'm
you
thinking
say it's gonna be
December-
again.
Well, I know
Oh.
Jen, everybody really liked it last night because it was just, past orders
On a
and
Tuesday.
it was a Tuesday at the castle, so
What
if
time
they
did
do
it
it
start?
again, it started at 4,
Oh,
yeah.
So, do you
I'm
wanna
just
switch it
saying.
then to the 10th, another Tuesday?
That might
December
be
10th?
better. Supposed to
Peter, are
be
you
eight.
okay on the 10th?
What about Wednesday the 4th? What's wrong with Wednesday the
Yeah,
4th?
we could do Wednesday the 4th.
Tuesdays are better for
Tuesdays are better.
Oh.
No, the fourth is
The 4th is okay? Is the 4th okay?
Yeah.
for me.
All in
Okay.
favor of the 4th of December for our
Okay.
organizational meeting in 2024? Unanimous,
5 o'clock, right?
5 o'clock. Okay, so we got all the scheduling set now, right?
Sounds like it.
Right, and that takes us back to the item that we skipped because we needed all this here. And that is.
Oh, I had one new business item.
Oh, what's
I don't
your
know
new
if
business
they bring it
item?
up or not, or maybe it's old business that I
Mhm.
keep coming back to, and maybe you guys can shut me down on it. But I don't know if you remember during the revow, there were some clerical errors in the beach area, and there were homes that were not properly assessed. And now, we figured that out during the revow, but those properties were never fixed. So,
Wait a minute, I don't understand.
yeah,
What?
there was a clerical error in the beach area on about 10 or 15 homes.
On where, in our notes?
No, in the revow, so Fazio, Municipal Valuation Services, whatever, admitted that they had made a clerical error on 10 or 15 homes in the beach area. So those properties are under-assessed by about $200,000.
Is it on Fairfield Beach Road?
No, the northern end of Roland Road and another street. And so, I had originally asked that be corrected by the assessor's office, which they can do because it's a correction, when he did it the next January, right? He can make corrections to the grand list up until January.
Until he
And then
signs
in
it.
January, it's signed, then any adjustments to the grand list, we have to make. And any adjustments he makes during the year, those people can come, anybody can come and appeal those adjustments. But those changes have not been implemented, and it's now been another 2 years, and those changes are still not in there. So, do I love to tell someone that they owe more taxes than they do? I don't know, but part of me feels like it's not right, because we know that it was a problem, and it was admitted by MBS that it was an issue, and that it was a miscoding of those properties.
So
And that-
I just want more clarification on what kind of mistake did he make?
So, when they created the new neighborhood, what do they call it? The Roland Road, the Penfield neighborhood, I can't remember what neighborhood code that is, but when they created that neighborhood code, they broke it away from the beach or something. Fairfield Beach was the whole thing. Then they took the peninsula during the revow and separated that and made it its own. And then they made, I don't know, what's Roland Road and what are the other
Lally
streets?
and-
Lally, all them became its own neighborhood code, right? So you guys remember that was a group of neighborhood codes. Everybody, when they did that, they added a BP 1, 2, 3, and 4 for distance from the beach, and so they coded the properties more tightly to make the numbers better in the beach area to reflect distance from the beach. But what they also did on all the properties was they changed the site index from a 5 to a 6 to make, and as we all know, site indexes significantly affect the value of a property because it's a percentage right off the land. So almost all of the properties in the beach area were coded as a 6, except for about 10 or 15 houses on the north end of Roland Road and someplace around the corner. They're still set as 5. So those people's assessments, some of their appraisals in the beach area, they actually stayed that their land value went down and their properties are under-assessed. And if you do the math and put it as a 6, like it's supposed to be, you look at the data, you look at the sales, They all line up where they're supposed to be. And so I had pointed it out, because we found it during hearings in 2020 or whatever, when people were coming in and saying, how come my
There
neighbor
were
across?
600 appeals, I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, well, people were coming in, they were saying, how come this guy across the street from me has the same 1,900 square foot as he has, so he's a newer kitchen than me, and he's $200,000 less than I.
And I guess we
Why
use
is
the
that
argument,
case?
well, you can't have what your neighbor has. That's not reason enough, and so here
No,
we
well, I
are.
started to look at it,
Yeah.
and I looked at it, and and I asked MVS, and I pointed out to Ross, and it was in fact a coding, clerical error. They were all supposed to be set to 6, because that's how the data was calculated. For
Okay.
whatever reason, when they went and put it back in the system, they left a certain number of them as a 5. And so those people's appraisals or assessments are much on their land value is way down low. And you can clearly see it. And so when the people came in, the answer was, you're right, your neighbor's too low by a couple hundred. And they were some of them were upset that, how come the neighbor gets,
Yeah.
gets to be so low? And it was a
Now-
clerical error. And if you do
Now,
the
the
math,
reval,
they're gonna
that
go
was-
up by 40%.
yeah.
Yeah. And do they get a break for the rest of this time? Do we allow them to have that break? Is it
What does
wrong?
Ross say?
I think we can
It's
ask
really
him.
in his hands.
I recall that it was something that may just get fixed in the next assessment, in the next reval. Sometimes that will
Well-
happen, but if you make a judgment error, that is that's not as clear, but there is statute for clerical errors. And I think last year, even during the reval, I started to make the motion, or I asked the town attorney, can we, as a board, raise these, put these people where they're supposed to be and fix it now, when and it was because we were already into April, and he's like, sorry, it's too late, you have to give them 6, if you're gonna raise as a board.
Right, you have to give them time
You have to give them 1 week to come back.
Right.
If we raise them, they don't have to come and appeal, we can just raise anybody's taxes. We can raise anybody's assessment if we want,
Yeah.
as a board, but I would prefer that Ross,
Yeah,
fix
see,
it.
I think this is an issue for Ross to fix.
well, we can fix it, but I would prefer that he fix it.
I don't think, but now that the grand list was signed,
Well, it
he can't
hasn't for
really
this
fix it.
year. No, the grand list gets signed every year,
right, so he'd have to fix it before the next,
January of this year.
let him do it.
But
I'm
do
not
we
gonna
want
be
him to
fine.
fix it? And if he doesn't fix it, do we just let it go for the next 2 years?
Here's the way I
That's,
look at it.
I mean,
That's his responsibility. We're
You
a
will,
board
it's
of
technically,
assessment
it's
appeals.
technically ours too.
Wait a minute,
We
though,
know
you-
that it was a clerical
But we're-
error.
No,
But you
we're
pointed it
the
out to
Board
him.
of
It's not like he
Appeals.
doesn't know.
I don't
You
know.
I don't
pointed it
see
out,
how
right?
this
You found it, or you pointed it out,
I
and they
did.
did discover that there was an error.
And they admitted it.
And they admitted it.
MVS admitted
They
it was an
admitted it.
error.
But then Ross knew about it after that, or whatever, maybe at the same time, yet he chose to do nothing. Is that right?
I think he should clarify that.
Well, it's yes or no. If he didn't do it, then he
Right,
chose to do
maybe
nothing.
forgot, I don't know. I haven't brought it up again
Somehow,
since, right?
somehow, it didn't get done.
It has not been done yet, right. There's still the opportunity every year for him to fix it.
Yeah, and
Or-
I think it's.
So let him take it.
It's
I'm not-
also our or we can fix it in the spring by doing the same thing, by saying we've done it and that's it. Or we just let it sit and let people know that they're getting a break for 5 years on their taxes. That doesn't sit well with me.
I'm not
You mean
gonna take the hit for him.
Retroactively, I mean, they've gotten a break, but.
They're still getting it
With the reval, it will change.
in 2 more years, but
Yeah.
for 5 years, they've not paid on
Right.
$200,000 worth of value in their house.
You know what? I think it's Ross's.
That's
Yeah,
Ross's problem.
it's his, he should do it.
So you guys are comfortable? See, I'm not comfortable.
Here's why I'm comfortable. I'm
Not
not,
fixing
if
it.
if we were doing appeals and we found that
I
there was
feel
a
like we're
problem,
appeals.
and we really thought that somebody's property was undervalued, and they were looking for more of a discount, and we said, no, it's not even what it's really worth. We have the ability to change it, but that's because they came to us. And we can change it if we want, because it's fair. But you know what, this is his responsibility.
Yes,
If he didn't know anything,
Well, we have three, we have other responsibilities.
No,
If you read the statute, that is one of the things we are
we are
allowed
allowed
to
to
do.
do, but it's not our responsibility to do it, we are allowed
I
to do it.
don't know, I
if
feel
we
like
choose.
it is.
There are,
I don't
I
choose to
could
do
give you
that.
10 properties right now in Greenfield Hill that are undervalued.
No, but that's,
Outrageously undervalued.
right, but that's not,
But I'm saying,
we can't fix that, right?
Yeah, but I just
Right.
think that,
But this
you
is
know,
a clerical error,
Ross,
so
if
we have
Ross
the
knows
ability to
about
do
it, you know, if you wanna
I'll bring it
remind
up
him
again
about it,
and
then
remind
it's
him,
really his
but I didn't know if you guys had any
responsibility, 'cause I don't
interest
feel
in
comfortable.
reminding him.
Nope.
Okay, I'll
I mean,
remind
I
him on
just
my own
don't-
then, like I said, that's how I feel about it, I feel like it's, wrong, it's, whatever, tax dollars that the town's not getting, and those
And that's
property
their-
hours.
And whose fault is that?
And
Not ours.
hopefully.
I'm not, this isn't about fault.
It is about fault, they made a big
No, it
mistake. How many hundreds of thousands of dollars mistake, clerical error, it's a mistake. It was pointed out, the people in charge know about it, nothing happened.
But it's not about blame, it's about being fair to
Sounds
everybody
familiar.
else.
That's
all.
Well, it's about blame to me, you screwed it up, you eat.
Do you
That's
know,
sorry,
are
that's
they
the way it
using
is.
the same, are they using that guy?
I don't know that they've been in.
I-
I don't know, but I did ask that when I went to see Ross.
Yeah, it would be good to know
I said
what the
didn't ask.
process is gonna
I
be, 'cause
said,
the communication has to
I asked for a
start.
favor. Could you please do me a favor, not use that same company? And he goes, well, why, and he was serious, he goes, well, why would you say that? I'm like, seriously, you're asking me that? And I gave him my reasons, clearly, why I didn't think they were the appropriate company for us. And he just said, oh, so I don't know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be based on price, I'm sure, and some quality issues. But here we are, here's one right here. Here's a quality issue, some clerical error, who made the error, it doesn't matter, but the error is there, it was pointed out, the appropriate people know about it and chose, or for some reason, didn't change it. Don't leave it to us to do, you fix it, be responsible, take responsibility for it. I'm not gonna take
So
responsibility.
you feel like he should have fixed it?
I feel like, yes, there was a mistake made and he should have
He
fixed
should
it
have
a long
fixed
time
it,
ago.
okay, so you're all in
Yeah.
agreement that he should have
He
fixed
should
it?
have
Well,
fixed it,
yeah,
yeah.
that's
I am in
that,
All right.
that's his job.
His job, his
job.
Not
responsibility.
mine, that's his.
Well,
Let
it
him
is
take the
technically
heat
our
for that.
job too, but I feel like it is our job, but whatever.
You know, if it was earlier on, I
Just
might
put it
feel
to a
differently, but
vote.
it's like now, it's like, come
Oh,
on,
or
we're
just,
almost
you know,
over.
are
It's like-
we saying that we recommend that he fix it? That he fix the clerical error, yes or no? Or you're not even
I feel like
comfortable going on
it's
the
his job,
record?
he can decide. I would say either way, if it was over and, someone doesn't come to us,
Well, you think they're gonna
That's
come
their
tell
job,
us
too.
that they're too low?
No.
no, I'm just saying, I would feel the same way if it was a clerical error in the reverse.
Right.
It's their job to come to us. I mean, I
The
wouldn't go around
statute
telling people.
is pretty clear that an error in judgment, in other words, okay, Greenfield Hill, the sales didn't go well, they didn't do the neighborhoods right, that's different than a typo, like you typed in the wrong
I don't know,
dollar.
an error is an error to me.
Yeah, but the statutes are pretty clear on what the difference is
But
between one.
that's true,
That's
that
all
is
I'm
true.
saying.
That
I
is
just
true,
think
but
if you feel
and the other thing
strongly
is-
about it, you should remind him.
I'm just asking if you guys support me in that or not.
I support.
Or you're
that-
just
here's the-
dipping your, now that
You know
you're on
what?
the record.
I have no problem with it. You want me to go tell Ross? I'll happy to go out there and say, listen, there's a problem here, you gonna fix it or what? I have no problem with
Should have
that.
fixed it.
I
have
don't
no
want,
problem saying that to him. Look,
I
Ross,
don't wanna be
what's
a
going
part
on
of
with
going
this?
on record and saying the board, told him to do it, and
I'm not gonna
I
say
don't
the
wanna
board
be
told
part
him.
of that.
I'm gonna say, Ross, I understand there's a problem.
it should have been
Is anything-
fixed.
it should have been fixed. What's being done to correct this? Do you plan to correct it? How? That's all. Just gonna ask him. I'll be happy to ask him.
You can clarify, and
I
if
mean,
he's
you
gonna
can
wait till
clarify
the
for
next,
Because it's his, he could have, just clarify this for me. This started in 2020, right? Because he stayed with me. How long has he known this?
he knew it in 2020.
Oh, and he's never even asked us to
Well,
look at it.
he couldn't have fixed it in 2020 because it was discovered after he
But he
signed
could
the
have come to
grant.
us and said, I can't fix this, you can.
We had 640, and
It
at that
doesn't
point in
matter.
time, I went to the town attorney, and he said, it's too late, you need 7 days if you're gonna raise someone's assessment, you have
They
to
do
give them a
need 7
notice,
days,
and you give them
that's
7
true,
days to
yeah.
come in, and you give them a separate
Okay,
hearing.
so here comes 2021.
But March was over, and the town attorney said no,
Here
right?
comes
So now we came
2021.
to the next year.
What happened in 2021? The problem still exists.
I think I brought it up at this board in
And-
the next year. I honestly don't remember.
I don't
We
remember
brought it
that,
up
but-
in March.
But I
We're
guess
still
I'm saying
fairly
is,
busy.
he had ample
Anyway.
opportunities to bring it
Moving
to
on.
us, even after the thing was signed, different years, and say to us, what do you guys want to do? But he didn't. That's up to him. So I'll be happy to ask him what he's doing about it, but I'm not gonna say that we recommend that he does anything. That's his,
No, because that would have to go to a vote.
so.
Right.
I think.
I'll ask him. No problem. If everybody wants, I mean, is that what everybody wants? Just to say what's
I
going
think
on?
it's the right
Is
thing
that
to do.
clarification?
If we're all saying it was his job, then he,
I think it's the right thing to do. He needs to be asked what's going on.
I mean, I guess it's his judgment as to decide whether he's gonna fix those or not,
Mhm.
or he's gonna let them go, but whatever.
Then they can complain.
I needed to have that discussion with all of you. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
you're welcome.
It's been on my brain for 2
I'll be on
or
the
3
phone
years.
tomorrow.
Oh,
Maybe I'll call in
gosh.
person.
Well, no, just thinking about it as we get back to this process of, we're going back into the revow. Plus, these people are gonna get hammered when, but
Yeah.
that's not the problem. The problem is it's not fair, and it should have been fixed
And if it's not fixed, we'll remind them that they
Drop
were,
the mill rate down.
they had.
timely, I haven't done the
Yeah,
math
nice
to
little
know how much
discount,
we've
so
saved
somebody
them
better drop the
in
mill rate.
taxes, but it's not small.
I don't think that, somebody better drop the mill rate, but I don't see that happening.
Really? How can values go up 40%? Our budget's not going up 40%.
Let's see, we have the
Give me a
safety
break.
street, so that little Johnny is safe on the sidewalk, rather than on the property where there's no cars up all day long. We have the PO, whatever it is, where we're gonna be changing everything into the city of Stamford. That costs money. Where do you think that money's gonna come from? Not coming from anybody but us.
I mean, they're all sitting there going, waiting for the reval, well, I can't wait for 40% more money?
Yeah, let's get more money, why not? That's what towns do, they look for more money. You never see them not look for money, do you?
We've got a couple of years.
I don't know.
Right?
So,
Okay, thank you for
I
indulging
never had a
me.
sidewalk I lived, I don't understand, but anyway, that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, so now
Well,
back to, you're welcome,
friend.
Kathleen, thank you for bringing that up. So now the vote. All right, let me find that, let's see now. Okay, nominations and election of officers for 2024 board. Well, anybody want, well, somebody has to, so, does anyone would anyone like to nominate a member for the chair?
I nominate you, Paulette.
Thank you.
I second it.
Peter,
I nominate Kathleen Griffin.
okay? We don't need seconds, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
All right. Okay, all in favor of Paulette Kuzo remaining as the chair, please raise your hand.
You have to vote. I was gonna say.
Decide, yeah.
You can't.
All right, nominations for vice chair.
Well, you have to vote for the other, but there's two, right?
Wait, we have to vote for what?
Well, I think you have to call for both, no,
Oh, I'm
both
sorry,
votes. If
okay.
someone could
Yes, you're right.
abstain,
I'm
whatever.
sorry, we should have.
Right,
My
right.
mistake.
Okay, so 3-2.
All in favor of Kathleen Griffin taking the chair?
2.
2. So it's 3-2. And Paul will reign the chair. Thank you. Nominations for vice chair.
Who was vice chair last year? I
As
don't,
long as I don't have to do it.
I don't think she didn't, yeah. Okay, I nominate
That's a really
Helene.
tough job, that's a really tough job.
I nominate Helene.
Okay. Any other nominations? All in favor of Helene as vice chair, please raise your hand. It's unanimous. Secretary.
Okay, here we go. I nominate.
Helene nominated me last year.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't vote for me.
No, I don't really
You
care.
don't have
I
to, you
think
can
there's
make a
not gonna-
motion and not
yeah.
vote for
I
the
don't
motion.
care.
I do.
Okay, it's up to you, you can nominate anybody you want, I don't have any say in it.
Yeah.
Any other nominations?
Can you nominate?
I can nominate anybody.
Anybody can.
You nominate?
I'll nominate Carol, because I want to torture her yet another year. All in favor of Kathleen Griffin as secretary, please raise your hand.
Let's see, one person. Don't you vote for yourself?
You're not
I
voting
guess
for
I have to
yourself?
accept the nomination, sorry about that. Okay.
All opposed?
No, you have to say all the,
Not
voting for
opposed.
Carol. But
Oh,
did Carol
sorry, I
accept the
forgot.
nomination? Wait, go back.
Let's start
Did you
again.
accept the nomination?
Of course, I will
So you each
accept
accepted
it.
the nomination, yes.
Oh, well, she
okay.
accepted the nomination then.
All in favor of Carol Langman as the secretary, please raise your hand.
She doesn't want to.
I don't care.
Well, I was gonna say, then I would have voted for her, I wasn't sure she accepted it.
Oh,
Because she said
okay.
she didn't want it.
You really don't want it?
No, I think that Kathleen will be better suited. I
Okay.
really do. And especially if this position is not filled. And I'm not 100% guaranteed it's gonna be.
It'll have to be, but I don't know with who. We don't know who the person's gonna be, if they have experience or anything like that.
Well.
Okay,
I have
so,
zero
Force you
faith
to
in
do
that.
it if you don't want to
okay,
do it.
so we're not
Yeah.
gonna force you to do it.
Yeah.
All right, so
Okay, I'll
Kathleen
do it,
Griffin
I'll
as
do it.
the,
I'm happy to
as
do
the
it,
secretary.
you win.
All right.
Okay, great. I think that's it for that. Yes, yes, and I guess we can adjourn. All in favor of adjournment at 6:50 PM?
2 hours. We're always 2 hours.